For Canadians, the hostage-taking has echoes of other so-called lone wolf actions here. It's a reminder of a strong parallel between our countries, both members of the coalition against ISIS. Stephen Harper was one of the first to call the Australian Prime Minister to express his sympathy. Adrian Arsenault now on what each country is learning about attacks at home.
We should care about Australia's interest.
His own lawyer called him damaged goods. The man Australians once dubbed the fake sheikh, almost always in serious trouble under big pressure. Criminal charges for sexual assault, denial of access to his children, the prospect of a lengthy jail sentence. He had plenty of triggers. But the Iranian refugee also had a growing fascination with Islamic extremism. Last year, sending a warning letter to Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott that as a consequence of participation in the Afghan war, that Australians would be attacked. Last month, he pledged allegiance to the one he called the Caliph of the Muslims, taken to mean the leader of ISIS. And in the course of his bizarre and bloody siege, he demanded an ISIS flag. That ISIS ideology used as a handy front by a man raging against the planet. Australia enduring what Canada knows. The attack in Ottawa in particular suddenly discussed at length in Australia. Again, a man with so many other issues and a sense of nothing left to lose.
How attractive is that to someone who's thinking, I don't know what I'm doing in this life. I need something else. Oh God, here are people fighting for a cause. I can identify with that and maybe I could be part of that.
With 9/11 and the London terror attacks, the story was about terror cells, people working together, guided by a strict hierarchy. No more. Now the isolated actor rarely communicates with anyone else, and that scares security agencies.
The new phenomenon that I'm very concerned about is somebody who's never met another member of that terrorist organization, never trained at one of the camps, who is simply inspired by the propaganda, the message to commit an act of violence.
The worry about lone ISIS-inspired actors so acute that in the weeks before the attack on soldiers in Quebec and Ottawa, Canada's security agencies had drilled on almost identical scenarios. So too with Australian counterterrorism officers. They had drilled on an attack in Martin Place just last year that is the exact spot of the siege. What Canada has seen with the surge in foreign fighters and Canadians being used as tools to both recruit and call for attacks on home soil is exactly what Australia has been going through too. Similar numbers of foreign fighters, similar haunting speeches, and some shocking images. Australian children in Syria holding up severed heads, and a plot to behead someone on Sydney streets, that one mercifully foiled. But it's what's next that will keep police awake in both countries tonight. Adrian Arsenault, CBC News, Toronto.